Hello and welcome to Auto Arcadia. I am one of your hosts, Thomas Hope, and with me, as always, is.
Colin Wood, the other host. How you doing, dude?
Yep, I'm good. How are you?
Smashing. I'm not bad. I'm having a busy week. Having a busy week.
Yes, yeah. I can only imagine for sure.
But it's all fun and it's all good, and I'm happy. And I'm not wanting to. Well, I'm not at work. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
That's the main
absolutely.
plus.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
And you have a little distraction for a bit. We're going to talk about cars.
yes, I do. It's the best type of distraction.
And do
So
you have anything in particular lined up?
well, at the risk of turning into like a little series, I figured off the back of the 911 last week we could lean into another favourite of the channel, the Impreza.
Okay. I mean, I will be very honest. I actually don't know a great deal about the Impreza. I used to really like the Impreza, but it was when I was at an age where I wasn't really great at retaining facts, if you know what I mean. Like, I know there's the blob eye, the bug eye, the other eye. I know there was the hatchback one that I don't
Nobody
think.
likes.
Yeah, no one liked. Yeah. Um, and I know there's the. I know they've been around for ages, like a really long time.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, I'm up for learning more. Lay those impressive facts on me.
fair enough. Well, I mean, need to start with Genesis, really, don't we? So the thing that came before the Impreza was the Subaru Leon, and it was shit. Um, and I've never actually seen one in the flesh. It's like a little boxy thing. It's like an EA engine, like 1.2, 1.4, and 1.5 is like the biggest they come
Oof.
in. But they went rallying with it, which kind of set the die for. So anyway, 1992, someone at Subaru was bored and they were like, "Fuck that off, make something cool." So then they came out with like the classic shape Impreza.
That's the square boy, isn't it?
That's the
Most
square
square
boy
boy.
with like the really oddly shaped estate as well. I never liked the estates. I always thought they looked like the designer just forgot to finish drawing the back of them. They should have been squarer. But I
Do you know? I don't think I can't picture an estate in the first gen, kind of early gen Impreza.
really,
No, I genuinely can't. I can only really imagine the saloon.
oh, I think you're happier for that though. Like if I didn't know what like the saloon just looks absolutely incredible. The wagon, I say the wagon, the estate one is horrible. I'm just not a fan at all. It's just like no.
Oh, I have been such a fan. I of course have seen one of these before. I was I think I might be thinking of something entirely different for a moment there. Yeah, I
Fair
totally
enough.
get what you mean. Like they're an unusual kind of estate hatchback hybrid.
Yeah, like I just, do you know how when you see a car for sale, right? And like it's not even a car you particularly like, but you see it and you're just like, oh, there's something right about that. There's something about that car that would make a really good purchase. Like that's probably a Stoughton vehicle. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I.
So there was one of these. It was a blob eye WRX estate, and it had the Pro Drive Performance Pack on it.
Oh
And it used
yeah.
to come into my work all the time. And they were like 250. Was it two? No, was it more? I think it might have been 250 brake, but they actually had more torque than an STI Impreza did, the WRXs, when they had the triple P pack on them. And this thing, it was in black, and it was the estate, and it just looked incredible. Like I don't know what it was. Like I've seen plenty of other ones that were black with the
Did it have the
same.
gold wheels?
It had the bronze Pro Drive monoblock wheels. It looked actually incredible. Like it was gorgeous. And I've seen loads of them since with the same spec and everything, but none of them have hit just quite like this thing did. This thing just looked incredible. the guy who kept bringing it into work actually caught me road testing it one day, and when he came in to pick it up, he went, "Goes well, doesn't it?" I was like, "Yes, it does." He goes, "How fast were you going?" I was like, "I'm not fucking telling you because I know you saw me." He's like, "Oh well, fair enough." He says, "It looked good. It sounded amazing when it went past me, though." I was like, "Good, good, good, good." Like, don't say this in front of the gaffer. He's like, "No, I'll not say anything." He says, "I'm only winding you up." But aye, no, it was really cool. It was really nice when you got people in the trade like that, like customers that had decent cars, but they weren't like dicks about it. They were like, "We know what goes on."
Mm,
Because like I actually got reported, tangent already, on
of
another
course.
Impreza, right? Another Impreza that came in. I got reported to the owner by somebody in the shop because they were like, the guy from the garage was in the car park doing donuts, and I was like, for a start, I wasn't doing donuts. I was driving in really, really slow circles in different directions, and he's like, "Why are we doing that?" I was like, "So I'm trying to figure out what fucking drive shaft is fucked." Because you put your car on full lock and drive round in circles, and you'll hear a clicking when the
Mm.
center, the constant velocity joint's fucked. So I was like road testing it to find out what joint is knackered. Um, but yeah, and the guy came back and he went, "What were you doing donuts in the Morrison's car park for?" I was like, "Well, I wasn't. I was trying to fix your fucking car, you dick."
Yeah, totally.
Um, but yeah, no, sorry, little fucking off the side detour already. Um, yeah, right. You know the problem we have when we pick like a name like the 911 or the Impreza is there's so fucking much. Like we could probably do like an 8 hour podcast just on the Mark One, like the classic shape Impreza. So in the interest of speed, they came with like 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, and 2 liter engines.
The first generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, typically, I believe the 1.5 was only front wheel drive when automatic. The 1.6 and the 1.8 were only front wheel drives, but could we have a manual as well? And you could get a 2 liter naturally aspirated with 4 wheel drive, a manual or automatic. And then after that, it went to turbo models. Um, so you got quite a lot with these ones, and they're actually quite a. There's a lot to them. Um, so like just if we're looking at the WRX and the STI models, like from 92 to 93, you had the GC8A, which was like 240 brake, viscous center differential, well, limited slip diff on the rear, which was a viscous type as well. And then you could get the WRX Type RA, which was a stripped down version of the WRX for the Japanese market for people to purchase for motorsports. Um, so the RA versions were quite cool actually. I had one of these, and they had less soundproofing, manual windows, no horns, no anti-lock brakes, no air conditioning. They had shorter gearing, more robust engines, so like they were typically a semi-closed deck block. But yeah, so that's like just the 92 to 93, and then in Europe you got the GT, the WRX, the GT, the Turbo 2000 UK, which only had like 208 horsepower, and then you got the GC8B, which is just like incremental improvements because this is from 93 to 94, and then you got the GC8C, which is 94 to 96 or version 2. So there's loads of incremental improvements all the way throughout this.
Yeah, on a side question, how common are incremental improvements on a yearly basis? Because they were some short run years for like a particular kind of like production
Yeah. So
version.
I think what you have to bear in mind with a car like this is really being fueled by motorsport.
I totally, yeah, that makes sense.
Like because it was homologated, if they want to change something on the rally car, they need to do it on the road car first.
Yeah.
And that's where the big push is from. But also, I've never really seen any car that has it since. Like, this is very much a bit of an outlier. It's like the exception that proves the rule almost. Like, you look at like the 911, for example, and you get like mid-life or mid-model refreshes. Like with BMW, for example, you get the LCI, which is the life cycle improvements.
Right.
So that's typically post LCI for a BMW is post facelift, which is when you get all your revisions and everything made. But then quite a lot of the time, you'll get revisions that are made and they're not really even noted. Like, nobody takes any heed of them. Like, a good example would be the Mark III Toyota MR2. So when it came in, it was pretty pared back to basics. It weighed like 900 kilos. And then as it got to like 2003, I think, there was loads of additional chassis bracing added. And then when it got to 2005, it got the limited slip diff as standard, like a Torsen unit as well, an actual decent diff. And like updates like that, but that's typically a facelift, I would say, because the actual look of the car changed. But what you're getting here, I mean, like a version 1 and a version 2 have external differences, but you know, it's just really, really intense upgrades on the Impreza, and I'm not sure why, because it didn't really continue through with like the GDs, like the new age stuff. They had updates every couple of years after that, if that makes sense.
I think so. So the updates have become less frequent.
Yes. And you see it does start to draw out a bit with the Mark 1 as well. One big thing is the GC8B, the first STI, which was the WRX STI version, is what it was known as, was produced in February of '94. So they were basically taken from the factory, off the assembly line, and modified at Subaru Technica International with the required parts. It was like 250 brake they had. And then they also put a lightweight version called the Type RA was offered, again with loads of changes, producing 280 brake, and it had the DCCD, which is driver controlled center differential, which is a big thing. It's an electromechanical diff, so you can change the front rear power split
on the fly.
Yeah, so you've got like a wee wheel you can press up and down. Then you've got like version 2, and like this is like the wheel diameters were increased to 16 inches and the brake rotors were changed. The brake discs, sorry, I don't know why I went all American there, were changed to ventilated discs. Like, that's the sort of changes you're talking here.
I get you, yeah. They're rallying it and they're realizing that it falls short in some respects in rally conditions, so they're just updating the road car, updating the rally car.
But you got what I think is quite a cool special edition here for the first time, which was the Impreza Gravel Express.
Right.
So you know what Subaru Outback's like, with like the plastic arches and the big balloon bumpers for like off-roading?
Yes.
So you got the WRX Sports Wagon, which is the estate one, with Outback trim, but on an Impreza, and it had a bull bar and a tailgate mounted, like on the actual tailgate, it had a spare wheel mounted up there, and it was called the Gravel Express.
I'm looking at one right now. Yeah.
They look incredible. I absolutely love them. They're class.
They're like the ultimate beach Baja kind of.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I just think they look class, though. I think they're fucking phenomenal. On this as well, which is version 2, you got like the Series McRae Turbo 2000s in the UK, which were prepared by ProDrive. So they were from 1 to 201. Car 13 was never built because it was considered unlucky. But again, loads of cool stuff. The normal STI got an upgrade to 270 brake. The car weighed 1,200 kilos, which, like, in the early 90s, nearly fucking 280 brake. And 1,200 kilos, that's a rocket ship.
Relatively quick, yeah, relatively quick. I mean, just to go quickly back, the ProDrive, that's quite a big name for Imprezas and Subaru.
It is. They
That's
were the rally partner, so they were.
Yeah, because they're a UK engineering company.
They are. They're a big deal, and I will get more into that in a minute.
Okay, fair enough, man. Like,
Yeah.
can we talk a little bit about rally as well? Like, are they already? They're already rallying these. This was a car essentially almost built to go rallying.
Yes. So, like, the series McRae was like the Turbo 2000, which was a UK model, and it was prepped by ProDrive, and it was built purely to commemorate Colin McRae's success in the international rally.
And he was racing for Subaru at the time.
He was racing for Subaru at the time. So he was like the 91 and 92 world champion. And then he became, in 95, he became the first British driver to win the world championship driver's title as well.
Nice.
So
Is that the 555?
yes. So treble 5 was that was his big one. So that was 95.
Okay.
So, like, he raced for Subaru from 93 to 98. So he was, like, in this pretty much from the word go.
Wow, he's crashed a lot of these.
Oh yeah, well, he had crashed a lot of these, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he drove. Initially, wasn't actually in a Subaru Impreza either. So he started off in a ProDrive built Group A Subaru Legacy.
Oh yeah.
And he won his first WRC rally in New Zealand in that car. It was also the first rally win for the newly formed Subaru World Rally team. And it was not long before the Legacy was due to be taken off in favour of the new Impreza, because obviously smaller frame, newer design, everything else. He was competing against Team TTE, which is Team Toyota Europe, which, as we know from if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying in motorsport, they were banned after the 95 Rally Catalunya because of the air restrictor cheat. So it only took until like 95 for McRae to win the driver's title, which is crazy. Which he secured in a victory in a straight contest with his double champion teammate Carlos Sainz, which is another legendary name in rallying.
Absolutely, yeah.
A lot to do with Toyota Celicas, so he did. There was a Carlos Sainz edition, which is an incredible bit of kit. But yeah, after that, it was McRae. He didn't really place better than second in 96, 97. Both times he was finishing behind the Mitsubishi Rally Art Evo, which is it's not a happy time for Subaru because they're rivals.
That is another absolute classic rivalry in cars and car culture, is Subaru versus Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi. Yeah, you're one or the other. Like, people don't mix. Quite interestingly, though, he helped Subaru basically complete a run of 3 consecutive manufacturers' titles during that time.
Yeah? Were the other two with Carlos Sainz?
Yeah. I believe so, anyway. Somebody's got to say I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but I think they were. And then his final season, in 98, he won 3 more rallies and placed 3rd in the standings, as well as winning the Race of Champions in the Canary Islands. Nice. And then after that, he went on to race for Ford, like 99, 2000.
Yeah, and the Escorts.
No, he was in
Focuses.
Focuses.
Focuses, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But anyway, that's enough about Ford. It's a dirty word. We're on Subarus.
So you're still preparing the Ford Escort episode then?
Yes, I will. I will get a Ford. Like, if we're doing legendary cars, like 911 Impreza, some would argue the Escort should have came before those two, because I actually think the Escort probably has more rally wins under its belt, like from start to finish to current day. Like,
Mm.
but yeah, so that's coming in the future. So it is. I will have that ready at some point in the future.
Okay, okay. I don't really know how I feel about that because like the Ford Escort is not a dream car for me in any of its marks or variants really.
Would you say no to like a nice Mark One Mexico or something like that though?
I mean, no, but like I wouldn't say no to any free car or any like this. The bar for me is quite low. I mean,
Fair enough. I would love a Mark One or a Mark Two. I think they're class. Like they're just. Do you know the thing that always got me? We're going off on a tangent again. You know the thing that always fucked me off about this is I had a Mark Six Ford Escort when I was 17, which is like the shittest one you could possibly own.
was it blue or red?
It was black.
It was black.
Yeah, I had a blue one. I had a 1.3 which I owned for about a fortnight, and then I got bored and I sold it and bought the 1.8 version, which came with all of 115 raging horses. Oh,
Whoa.
crazy times, man.
I mean, like your first car never has very much power.
No, it doesn't. But it was cool. I really liked it. I had kept it nice and clean. I crashed it loads. Um, yeah, it did what a first car does, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like because like my mum and my granddad and my nan and everyone, they were like, you've got these cars though. I'm like, but it's no the same. You're sitting there telling me that the Ford Escort's a good car. When you had a fucking Ford Escort, it was rear wheel drive with a 2 litre Pinto in it and weighed about 600 kilos wet through. Says now it has front wheel drive, the driving dynamics of a fucking wet paper bag, and is a bit shit. Like, you don't get to have this complaint. It doesn't work when you say it to me. But yeah, so it's like I don't know. I like the old ones. Like I loved my XR3i, to be fair. But anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. So
I thought for a moment this was going to become the actual Ford Escort episode.
no, we can't do that. We can't do the Impreza dirty like that because I love my Imprezas.
That's fair. I assume you're on the side of the Subaru Impreza versus the Mitsi Evo.
Oh yeah, I'm a sledgehammer man, not a scalpel man. Ah. Well, where the fuck do we go from there? To version 3, that's where. So yeah, like dipped a little bit into like the history of the rally there. And then you had version 3, which was 96, 97. So the WRX was now like 280 brake, although it actually made closer to like 300. It was underreported because of the gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, that's really interesting when they were like a lot of manufacturers were underreporting their cars.
Yeah, most people the Dodge with that, like I would say, and we got another special edition in March of '97, which was the Turbo 2000 Catalunya, which was UK only, and it was 200 cars excluding number 13, and they were all black with red flecks riding on gold alloy wheels.
So wait, what was that? That was an Impreza.
Catalunya, the Turbo 2000 Catalunya. It was made to celebrate the second WRC manufacturer's title at the Rally of Spain in Catalunya, funnily enough.
Hi, I kind of guessed that one.
And this is where it starts to get a bit spicy, or I think it does. So the GC 8D, or the version 3, got the coupe version of the WRX for the first time, and it was a WRX Type R. And the coupe was chosen by ProDrive, for WRC because it was lighter and stiffer than the saloon.
Yeah, fair.
although it had the same exterior dimensions essentially. So it was basically a two-door version of a WRX Type RA, meaning it had like the center control differential, the close ratio gearbox, the water spray nozzle on top of the intercooler. There was an estimated 10,000 Type R models produced for the JDM market. And there was also an RA, a WRX Type RA saloon with a roof vent instead of a map light, wind-up windows. And then you got the WRX Type R V Limited, which essentially was a WRX engine. So it didn't have like forged internals or anything like the STI one that missed out on 4-pot brakes. So like it's such a convoluted model.
It's incredibly complicated model line. Like, I mean, one thing that I am really enjoying is the fact that they're increasing trim level just appears to give you less stuff.
Yeah, it's like we're just going to make it lighter and lighter and lighter.
Absolutely, and we're going to make it more and more raw and aggressive.
But now we're getting to the good shit. So now you're into like 97, 98, and you had version 4. So again, you're at 280 brake. The UK got another special edition, which was the Turbo 2000 Terzo.
Does the UK get all the soft special editions?
Yeah, they were all colours and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The Japanese market gets all the cool stuff.
I'm beginning to feel a little bit hard done by, to be honest.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
Oh no.
So the 98, this is when the big boy comes along, the 22B STI. So the 22B, it commemorated Subaru's 40th anniversary, as well as the third manufacturer's title in WRC. Now, on release of the sales, all 400 units sold out within 30 minutes.
I mean, I could totally believe it.
Yeah.
That is a special edition.
There was another 24 of them made as well.
Oh yeah, 16. Why specifically 24?
So there was 16 of them for the UK and 5 for Australia, with 3 just marked as prototypes. And the 16 cars that were imported to the UK were imported and modified by ProDrive. So they got longer gear ratios, UK specs, and because 50 22Bs had already been imported privately into the UK, Subaru had to wait until 1999 to register the 16 officially imported cars. Because it was like...
The second the maximum was 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just fantastic. And it came with an EJ22 engine, which is a 2.2 litre closed deck block. I could go really, really, really deep, but if I do, we're going to be here all night.
We're talking Boxster engines here.
Yes.
They've always been Boxsters.
That's the ones.
Just to clarify.
I like them, man. Like, they're a bit of a Marmite thing, but I like the noise. I mean, they're a bit soft, if I'm totally honest, but they're not a bad bit of kit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the engine's cool. Boxer configuration is a cool engine type.
Oh yeah, like I mean, you're basically just driving a Porsche in reverse everywhere. Like, or if you're in a Porsche, you're just driving a Subaru in reverse everywhere.
That's the way to look at it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would own a Boxster just to own a Boxster.
I think we need to get you in an Impreza, man.
I would genuinely love an Impreza, but Imprezas, they're starting to get quite pricey.
Yeah, that's the problem. It'll be a Copart job if we do this.
I really liked the... Oh, no, I'll wait. I'll save it.
Well, I've actually got it saved on my saved searches. So it pops up whenever there's an Impreza at any of the free Scottish sites. Because it's on my list.
Yeah. I looked very briefly at the more recent Imprezas as like a car to buy, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But they were still very expensive as well.
And you want one that's after 2017, otherwise it costs about £800 a year to tax.
Yeah.
which interestingly enough is something I'll get onto once we're into new age models as well. Um, so 98, 99, you had the version 5, Colin McRae's away to Ford, Richard Burns returns, which is another iconic name.
Mm.
So now you had the UK Special Edition Turbo 2000 RB5. But this one was basically, it wasn't like it was mostly a cosmetic thing, but most of them also had the WR Sport Performance Pack on them, which like brought it up like another 40 brake horse, I think. And you got the optional Pro Drive suspension packs on them as well.
Okay.
The Turbo 2000 was restyled and tuned by Pro Drive to create the Pro Drive WR Sport. That was in '99, and then the STI, the power stayed the same. Engine layout and design was made a bit cleaner. Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's incremental changes again.
Absolutely. So within this one kind of generation of Impreza, how many kind of refreshes and different like model kind of like options have they offered?
Oh, fuck. Well, I've got one more to go and then we're out of the classics. So I'll run through this and then I'll give you an overview. So in 99 to 2000, you got the version 6. So the WRX was basically what it was. There was like, it got remote central locking, color coded door handles, all that pish that nobody really cares about.
Yeah.
And then you got GT models in the UK, in the Europe, which got more upgrades in the form of STI parts. Now, you got the big boy here, which was the WRX P1. This is the one everybody wants in the UK. So Subaru UK, because there was so many grey imports coming in, Subaru UK were like, Pro Drive, make us a car. 1,000 of them, 2 doors in Sonic Blue, and it was the P1. So they were like 280 brake. They done like loads of shit. They're pretty much the gold standard for a UK Impreza. Like if you want to buy one as an investment, that's what you're gonna fucking buy.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
STI.
it,
Oh,
it,
sorry, go on.
it is a bit of the daddy when it comes to how it looks. Like that's kind of what I think of when I think of an Impreza.
Oh yeah, like that's what you want. There's one more special edition which was absolutely incredible though. So you had the STI, mostly cosmetic changes again. You got like the STI version 6 limited, um, and there was loads of limited number runs because they were getting to the end of it. But now you got the daddy. Now Imprezas, well, Subarus in general have S models, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are like the absolute cream of the crop. If STI make a part for an Impreza, when they make the S body, they throw everything at it, and like these are genuinely like a GT3 RS. Like this compared to a normal WRX is like a Carrera to a GT3 RS. That's what they are. And it was the WRX STI S201. They made 300 of them.
Wow, was that it?
Yeah, 300 horsepower. It had every part that STI made. It was saloon only, and it was the only body kitted one from the factory. It had a tri-level wing and a massive front air splitter. Honestly, man, Google them because they look mental.
I have, yes. Yeah, they're that front, man. That front is a lot. it's so underground one.
Yes, it very much is.
I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie. I can't believe that's an actual. I mean, from the factory in quotes, but like that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, yeah, so essentially you had like probably 7 special editions there. WRX, WRX STI, RA, Type RA, 22B. There was like 15 different models there
In the space of what, 10 years?
in the space of 10 years. And that's not including like the non-turboed ones as well.
Yeah, it
Like,
does feel a bit excessive, doesn't it?
yeah, it's fucking wild.
Do you
Um,
think Subaru are the one of the worst offenders for this?
no, I think the German makes are the worst. Like what you see like Mercedes and that doing now, where it's like you've got the A class, and you've got the CLA, and then you've got the GLA, and then you've got the C class, and you've got the CLC and the GLC. And it's like there's a niche for everything. It's just a bit excessive. I think they're worse, so I do.
Fair enough. Okay, fire on. We're moving into the new millennium.
Yeah, so we're into the new age models now. So everything before 2000 is the classic,
Okay.
and then you've got the Bug Eye, which was like 2000 to 2002. Everybody hated it because it was fuck ugly. Then you had the Blob Eye, which was personally I think it's the best looking Impreza you can get, which is the 2002 to 2005. And you had the Hawkeye, which was '05 to '07.
Oh, the Hawkeye. Yes, that was the one I was forgetting. You know,
Yeah.
you're totally right. The Blob Eye is by far and away the best looking of all of those. But do you know what? I absolutely do not hate the Bug Eye.
No. Like, I
Quite
would have
like
any of
it.
them. So I would. They're all really nice. Now, I'm going to paint in very broad strokes here. So they got bigger, they got longer. Um, Generally, the spec stayed much the same. Like, I think the European and Asian models mostly got a detune because of emission standards. So your WRX was like 230-ish brake horsepower, I believe. And then your STI was 260-ish. And that was because of emissions. And there was no getting away from it. That was it. Boom. Job done.
Yeah,
Uh,
these were one of those cars that got hit really, really hard by the emission standards.
yeah. And they were pretty. I think it didn't do them any favors either. Like Subaru could have done so much about this as well. Like Mitsubishi with the FQ cars, they shipped them over with a parts kit, and when they were getting PDI, they took all these parts off and then put all the FQ kits on. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
like
so the actual base car passes emissions, but they just sell it with like a performance pack that.
was fitted from the dealer essentially.
Aye, exactly, yeah.
So they could have done stuff like that. But I mean, Japan got so many cool cars here. But the long and short of it for the next kind of 7 years is the WRX 2 litre 5-speed manual. Typically had a low level spoiler, didn't have a very big bonnet scoop, had quite subdued bodywork. STI, much the same, more power, lairier bodywork, better suspension. Until it got to the Hawkeye, and then it went to the 2.5 litre engines instead of the 2 litres. But I'm going to jump in because you got the WRX, and then you got the WRX STI. So that was
Mm-hmm.
all pretty cool. Now you got you remember the Type RA in the classics.
Mm-hmm.
So now you had the WRX STI Spec C, which it had lighter, thinner glass, lighter body panels, different suspension geometry. It
So this
had
was
like
Hawkeye.
no, this was across all three.
Oh right, okay.
So there's like loads of these little changes. Had quicker steering. Transmission had its own oil cooler. Yeah, there was quite a lot of changes on the Spec C, and it was generally what the RA used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So this, and then you got the Spec C Type RA. No, sorry, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. So that was like your special edition on the Bug Eye, and then you got the S202. So the S202 was basically the same as the S201. Everything in the kitchen sink thrown at it.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool seats, like low friction pistons, hollow intake valves, you name it. Like it didn't even like the carpets were thinner. It had aluminium body panels, thinner door skins. Like the metal that makes the outside of the door was physically thinner. The door cards were thinner. It had thinner glass windows. It was fitted with lightweight STI parts. It had no suspension bushes. Everything was spherical bearings. Like it was legit.
Absolutely.
Like this is a legit piece of kit. And then after that, you went on to the Blob Eye. So the Blob Eye, you had your WRX, your Spec C. Then you had your.
I think the Blob Eye Spec C and the Spec C RA might be peak Impreza for me.
Oh,
Having had a look around, that white is,
yeah.
it looks really good.
I have a differing opinion, and I think the absolute peak Impreza for me is the S203.
Which I've just looked at now. Do you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I think that's the Type CRA.
Well, I'll come back to that because there's another option in the RA, right? So you also had a UK special edition at the minute, which was the Pet Solberg, which was the WR1. And
Was that just a fancy paint job?
It was, but this was like 320 brake, and it had a lot of. So 2003, 2004, the STIs were narrow track. Then for 2005, they became wide tracks. So there's like a little bit of plastic on the rear arches to make them a bit wider, but they came with the driver's controlled center differentials, and they got a lot of spec upgrades and stuff as well.
Did they all come in the light blue colour?
The STIs?
Yeah.
You could option them as black or white as well, but they were incredibly rare.
Yeah, because just having a quick Google online, they all seem to be in like a really, really light blue.
Yeah. It's World Rally Blue.
Oh, really? I did not know that. That's not the colour I thought World Rally Blue would be.
Aye. No, they're actually like, I really like the blue, although I really like the WR1 blue more because it's ice blue. It's stunning.
No, sorry, that was the blue I was talking about. The ice blue. I'm looking at WR1s.
The WR1s solely came in that shade of blue.
That totally makes sense because I had a quick Google image to see what they look like, and I mean they look really good. I'm not 100% sure on the color. I've definitely seen Subarus in this color floating about as well. I'd wonder if they're legit WR1s.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a very good question. There'll probably be quite a lot of clones going about because everybody copies every other Impreza. It's fucking ridiculous. Now, there happens to be the shape after this as well, which is the Hawkeye, and I think this might be competing for your peak Impreza. So you had all the same models again, and then you had the S204, which was like 330 brake horsepower, 6-speed manual. They went to the Nürburgring, set ridiculous times with it.
I really don't like the front end of the Hawkeye.
No?
That tiny little squidgy nose that it's got.
Yeah, it's a bit chintzy.
That's like Subaru in that period were really fucking it with their design. Because there was also that SUV that was really ugly. It had like that kind of nose style, but it was taller.
No, I'm not a fan. Like the best one for me is the Blob Eye, but the one thing I do like about the Hawkeye as well is the one that's like 800 quid a year at tax, because after 2005 in the UK, big money for tax, which is not good.
Yeah, no, it's quite weird actually. Before 2000 is it before 2008? You're okay.
Before 2005, you're okay, and then up from 2005 to basically 2017, you're fucked. Like that's the range in which it can be up to £1,000 to MOT to tax your car, which is ridiculous.
It's quite a lot.
It is. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely looked at cars where the tax bracket was like 600, 700, £800.
And it's quite a big factor in me not buying any of those cars as well.
I'm sure my TT was quite a high tax bracket too.
It would have been. Now, Tom, I have for you the entry into what I think might be peak Impreza for you.
Lay it on me.
It's the the Hawkeye WRX STI Spec C Type RA R. So it's even lighter than the Type RAs and the Spec Cs. 320 brake, Enki wheels that were in white. They came in bright yellow. The engine was blueprinted and balanced. The suspension was everything from the STI catalogue. The front brakes were 6-piston Brembos. The engine, like the turbocharger, was based on the twin scroll unit out the S body, the S series, and the brakes were silver, but they changed colour to gold when they got heated up. And according to an STI engineer, the second R in RAR is meant to mean radical.
Okay. I like what I hear, and yellow. You've always got me with the color yellow, but I'm looking at a picture of one right now, and it's from the front, and I think the Hawkeyes look really bad from the front.
Fair enough.
They look like they're like kind of like, it looks like someone's grabbed the front of the car and pulled it a little bit, like it's gone a bit taut at the front.
Yeah, they do. They've been pinched. They've been like, yeah, it's not cool.
It's
not
definitely
a good
Blob Eye. I would take the Blob Eye version of that, which is exactly what I said.
Yeah, that's fair. That is more than fair. So there was a bit of an oddity in the new age Imprezas as well, and that was the Saab.
The what?
So Saab wanted a new car, and this was when Saab was struggling for in North America. So Saab said to Subaru, "Can we borrow the Impreza?" And Subaru went, "Yeah, sure." So Saab have a model called the 92X, and it's just an Impreza WRX wagon with Saab badges on it. Have a look
Oh
at it.
yeah, I've totally seen these before. Aye, the Subaru.
Yeah. And that's us pretty much done with the new age stuff. It's now really like 2000 onwards, which is the Shark Eye, which is the hatchback that nobody likes.
Yeah, nah, doesn't do it for me. Impreza is
then-
a Ford, like it's a saloon or a coupe.
Yeah. No, I'm totally on board. Like, I'm not having this hatchback crap. But in 2012, they did bring out a saloon version of it. Which, if you put in Subaru Impreza WRX STI GV, it'll come up. Again, I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay, right. I have
The
mixed
saloon
feelings on
works,
this one.
like-
The saloon looks way better than the hatchback, but I'm still not 100% sold on that front end.
See, I like that. I like them. I think they look cool. So they do. Again, there was loads of special editions.
Of course, of course.
Like fucking hundreds of them.
How many people
Mm.
are buying all these special editions?
Well, they kept making them, so they must have kept selling them.
Like,
That's the thing.
yeah.
So like there was 20 edition Spec C, the A line, which had like a 5-speed semi-automatic gearbox, and yuck. WRX STI 330S and the 380S, which was like power packs. And then they had the R205, which
Right.
was what was it done again? It was based on an STI, and it was basically using technology from Subaru Technica International racing in the 24-hour Nürburgring race. Quite a cool bit of kit, to be fair.
Is this in the hatch form? Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember if this is hatch or not. I'm not sure on that. It's in that era though, so it could be the hatch.
Hmm.
Then you got the Cosworth CS400, which was limited to like 75 models in the UK, and it was like 400 brake horsepower from the factory. And then you got the S206 and the S206 NBR Challenge package, which was the Nürburgring Challenge package.
These names, man.
Oh, they're fucking, it's wild, like.
Okay, so the S206 is the saloon.
I really liked the S206. Like, I would have any S model Impreza or Subaru actually, because the legacies came in S models as well. I think they're all pretty cool.
I think it's insane they made the Legacy in the S model as well. But understanding the Subaru naming convention, you know, when they've got their like Spec Bs and their Type Cs and their S's and their WRX, but then also their STI.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on. Can you imagine a fill your model the car model out on paperwork?
it's like, I mean, it's alphabet soup, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a high scoring word in Scrabble.
Oh, definitely. I I'm kind of got to gloss over that model. I don't really have too much to say on it because that's the kind of last time, apart from a brief stint after this where it's acceptable. So now you're in like the fourth generation, 2011 onwards,
Right.
and this is when like the Subaru Levorg rears its head.
The
Like,
Levorg.
to all intents and purposes, the Impreza rally car that everybody knows and loves is kind of dead at this point until you get to 2014, which is when the properly updated one is, which is like the really aggressive front. And
Yes.
I really like these. These are cool.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of one that I was gravitating towards.
Yes, and they're cool, man. Like, I would genuinely have one of these. Like,
Yeah, absolutely, me too. I'm also looking at the SO7. It came in
oh,
yellow.
yeah, that is some exotica right there. There was only 400 of them made, and
Mm-hmm.
you also got the S208 as well.
Oh, we're up to S208. Oh yes.
If I could get my hands on one of them, I would have it tomorrow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The S models are really, really cool. Or the S trim, whatever you want to call it.
And then in 2019, you got the S209 as well, and it was the first S model to be sold in the US as well.
Interesting. So, are we still rocking Boxsters?
Yeah, we're still rocking boxer engines now, so we are, and there is in the future. So you got the fifth generation in 2016 as well, which is more of that Levorg fucking bollocks. And you've got the sixth generation Impreza now, which is like 2023 onwards. But at this point, it's dead for me. Like, this is not the Impreza that I know. Like, the Impreza that I know was stopped in 27. Well, it stopped in 2019 with the end of the WRX that we were just talking about. So,
Do you know what's interesting about the Impreza?
what's
Is
that?
its lower trim levels. That is a phenomenally dull car.
Yeah, but I've got a hot take on this as well.
Oh, I want to hear it.
So I believe that the best model you could possibly have in the new age model, the new ages, excluding like the S models and the Type RAs and the Spec Cs, is the R Sport as a road car or as a like something to have fun on really tight, twisty, technical roads with.
Right.
And it was just the four-wheel drive, naturally aspirated 2 litre. It was like 190 brake horsepower, and honestly, see the number of people that you could show a clean pair of heels to with that if you knew what you were doing is absolutely unbelievable. Like, honestly, proper giant killing exploits are possible with that car.
So an R Sport.
An R Sport. They were really, really popular for people with shit driving records or young folk. So what they used to do is get them and then make them look like WRXs.
I get you.
But like, I've test drove a few of those. Like I actually went and I was looking at getting one coming out the back of the RX-8, and I was really, really up for it. Like I don't actually know why I didn't go for it. I think I actually went and looked at a WRX instead, and then put myself off the idea. But the salesman was fucking like, what the fuck just happened? Like he couldn't believe this little 170 brake Impreza could be pushed down a road like it did.
It could shift.
Yeah, they can shift. Like they're not fast. Don't get me wrong, but if you're fast, you can be very, 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 very quick in covering ground with them. But that's the thing. Like fast cars are for straight lines. Fast drivers are for roundy twisties. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's my little hot take on the new ages. Like the most fun you can have in one, I'm positive, is in an R Sport on a right twisted, shitty road.
So you do not recommend the top spec. You're like just
Oh no, like if you're gonna buy one, I genuinely believe if you have the means to buy like an S204, an S205, and you don't, no, sorry, an S204, S203, and you don't, you've made the wrong choice. Like if you want what an Impreza can be, like absolute ultimate, and you have the means to buy one, that's what you should buy. If you want a really, really fast, competent A to B back road car, get an STI Impreza. If you can't afford that, get a WRX. But if you want to have the most fun, really grow your driving ability, because it'll make you conserve momentum and stuff, get the R Sport 2 litre.
fair enough. Your discussion prompted me to look at what the most expensive Impreza on Auto Trader was right now.
What
Do you want
is
to
it?
take a guess? How much much is that, as they say?
I reckon it'll be about 75k.
Interesting.
And I reckon it's an imported one.
Interesting. Okay, so you're wrong, but
Okay.
in an interesting way, because the most expensive one is about 100,000.
Ah, fuck, it's a P1 or something, isn't it?
It's an
No, they're like,
unregistered Spec C blob eye.
really?
Yeah. But then the next most expensive is 60,000 down, and that's for your like P1s,
Yeah.
and like Hawkeye Spec C RAR. You know, like your properly like fancy editions. So you were pretty close with 75. I have no idea why it not being registered makes it worth so much.
I don't know. Like, if you scroll down a bit further, there's actually an S204 for sale as well. 40k gets you in an S204 Impreza, and that's like legitimately one of the finest fucking fast road cars that money can buy. I'm
There's an
telling you that.
S206 beside it as well for the same.
Really,
Yeah. So absolutely, like, you know, do you know what? This means that Subaru Imprezas are actually not that expensive.
they're really not.
Like we're talking here 40 grand. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can buy for 40k.
Yeah,
But
but here's the
also,
thing. So, it's not to cut you off, but see, like that RAR, for example,
yeah,
it's 50k, but we'll kibosh that. Say that S204, right, for 40 grand. Show me another car for 40 grand that will genuinely compete with like a GT3 level Porsche.
I mean, I think you could find them, But what I was thinking about more comparing it to is like, say, how much is your no bog standard car, if you know what I mean?
Nowadays, about 40 grand.
I mean, honestly, even a bit more than that. Like, think of a pretty standard kind of car.
An Audi A4,
I
2
see.
litre
I
diesel.
thought an A4 too, but I can't find a new one for sale on Auto Trader. What about an Audi A3?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are actually starting. You're looking around 30 to 35.
Well, I mean, 32 would get you a Litchfield T25 Cosworth, which was a special edition where Litchfield bought loads of cars brand new off and basically tuned them up and put like the 2.5 litre engines in the 2 litre models. Like they essentially made an absolute weapon out of it.
Yeah, man, I know exactly which one I would pick.
Yeah, what one would you pick, Tom?
Yeah, I think I might have the Litchfield one, to be honest. Like, Litchfield's one of those names that you see it every so often, just on really random, weird stuff. But a wee while ago, I remember reading up about it, and I was like, "Oh, this is very like long history, British kind of shed."
So, I suppose the question that remains, what's your thoughts on the Impreza? And I mean, I know what you just said there kind of alludes to, like, I think what you'd be thinking, but I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on this legendary model.
I really like Imprezas, and honestly, having listened to you kind of give a bit of an overview of them, and primarily the ethos of the higher trim models tend to just have less stuff and be a bit more raw, really appeals to me, to be honest. The only thing that kind of stopped me always from having an Impreza is that, I don't know, they always were maybe just a touch too pricey for me.
I'll give you that because
I know we've
you have.
literally just talked about how they're actually like pretty cheap compared to stuff now, but like I never really remember thinking that, like, if I was to get an Impreza for the money that I spent on cars when I was younger, I would have got a really, really bad one.
Yeah, and a bad Impreza is not fun because Imprezas break quite easily as well.
Hmm.
That's unfair. I'm quite hard on the Imprezas that I've owned, but I've broken most of them.
uh, Full sympathy from me, man. I break cars too. Like, I'm generally quite hard wearing on cars.
But I don't think that's maybe not a fault of the Impreza. That's possibly a fault of me. So don't take that with a pinch of salt if you're listening and thinking, "Oh fuck that, I'm not buying any of them now. He keeps breaking them." But yeah, I they're probably one of my favourite rally derived cars. Legitimately, like I don't think I would have an Evo over an Impreza.
Hmm. I do like Evos, I've got to say. I'm a bit of a fan. I even like the Evo 10.
I don't know. They just don't do it for me.
That's fair.
The
That is fair. Like, I think the Subaru as a car has more charm.
Yes,
The Evo's quite cold and clinical.
you just used exactly the word that I was about to reach for there, which is clinical.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I think you have maybe slightly different kinds of fun in both of them.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's a fair thing to say, I think, bud.
But I absolutely wouldn't say no to either. I definitely love an Evo, and I definitely love an Impreza.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody like offered me it for free, and they're like, "It's an Evo," I'd take the Evo, but I would sell it to buy an Impreza.
We need to start asking if you could have the car or 80% cash alternative. What would you take?
80% what on the Evo?
Aye.
80% cash alternative.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer. Like,
I thought you were weighing
genuinely,
up both of the options.
I would. Do you know what I would do? Right, I would take the 80% cash option, And what I would essentially do is be like, fuck it. What can I buy? Can I get a Porsche? Yes. Can I get a good Porsche? No. Can I get an Impreza? Yes. Can I get a good Impreza? No. Fuck it. I'll buy a motorbike and be faster than everything. And then pocket the change. Like, but
Fair
no,
enough.
I'm just, I don't get them. And do you know what it was as well? Like, there was loads of people who used to talk to about this, and they're like, "Fucking Imprezas are shite, mate. You get an Evo, it'll blow the doors off an Impreza." And it's like, but the only thing, like, there's no real comparison between the two, because the Evo is the top of the range version of the Lancer. Now, they're essentially two different cars, but for the sake of this, it's the Lancer Evolution. So if we're looking at it strictly as it's a trim level of the best, it's the best trim level of the Lancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only comparison is to the STI,
Yeah.
and the only comparison there is to like the MR, which is like the 280 brake one, to the normal STI. As soon as you start putting like the treble P power pack on it, you're up like an FQ 300 equivalent. But as soon as you go higher than that on the Mitsubishi side, you're looking at like your Spec Cs, your Type RARs, your SS models. But if you look at it the other way, like you're comparing the Lancer to the Impreza WRX and down, Mitsubishi gets fucking destroyed.
I mean, that is maybe true, actually. I see your argument, and I think I agree, yeah. Like, I would rather, in many ways, I'd rather walk than drive a base model Lancer.
It's like there's very little in life that seems as dull as that.
Oh,
sentence.
it's such a big cup of bland, isn't it? Even one of them in, like, a really bright, leery colour, you're just like...
Yeah. It's like, no, you're all right, pal. I mean, there is one exception to this, and it's the Mitsubishi Mirage.
The Mirage.
Yeah, so it's not the one we got in the UK, it's the one they got in New Zealand and Australia. And the Mirage is like basically an Evo 6, but a coupe.
Alright, well, that's pretty cool, actually, yeah.
And that's really fucking cool. Like, I would genuinely have one of those. But apart from that, nah, fuck off. Give me the Scooby.
I'm really glad it's not the Mitsubishi Mirage that we got in the UK, because that's horrible. That
Oh, it's
looks like it was
disgusting.
a kind of co-design with Peugeot or Citroen.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. So yeah, no, I'm definitely a Subaru man. Keep your
That's
fucking
fair. That is fair. I think Subaru has the best colour combination of blue and bronze.
yeah. Is that because you've had your wheels redone in
No,
bronze
no, not at all. I think that
on a blue car?
that's very iconic, like very, very iconic, and I like the colour combination. Like, you do
Yeah,
think, when you think of Prezi, you think blue.
you think blue and gold? Very
Uh,
true. Covered in yellow stickers.
yeah, totally. Totally. But yeah, no, thanks, Colin. This has been really, really interesting. I actually think I find myself a little bit more G'd up about Imprezas, and like, kind of like, I'm going to look out for them a little bit more. I have more knowledge.
Yeah. See, when you're doing this now, like you'll see them. Like I still get stupidly excited when I see a genuine Spec C floating about in real life. I'm like, oh my god, that's got a bonnet vent. That's sorry. Oh my god, that's got a roof vent. Like, oh, that's JDM. Or when I see one and it doesn't have the boxer burble, and I'm like, that's got the equal length manifold on it. That must be a JDM import.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Because the JDM ones sound different. So they do, because they've not got unequal length manifolds on them. But they had a lot of like technical changes as well. Like they had better turbos, they had AVC AVCS heads, which was like had a tumble valve and stuff in the inlet runner. There's loads and loads of changes, but like when the UK went to 2.5 engines as well, Japan stayed with the 2 liters. and they're stronger. They're like blueprinted engines from the factory and stuff. There's so much happens that like model information and fucking history and variants. It's just incredible. Like,
Yeah, that is. You could do some serious automotive history from that.
oh yeah. I mean, we've had a relatively quick, not in depth view of it, and we were on the fucking classic shape for like 45 minutes, just listing different models.
Yeah, they definitely simplified.
But yeah, so I think we need to, off the back of this, like I think we need to get an Impreza, you know,
That would be great. So
because
if you find us a cheap wrecked Impreza, thank you.
I will see what I can dig up, because they are a bit of kit, like, and they're one of the best drives I've had. Certainly, I love them. They just respond so well to my, well, to
Force.
yeah, to force. It, it sounds really uncharitable towards myself, like I'm not capable of finesse, but yeah,
You don't always want finesse.
you don't. Like, there's something really refreshing about driving an Impreza and the way that they respond best to you, and that is when you just fucking grab them and make them do what you want them to do. It's
Yeah,
like,
totally. You don't tiptoe around them.
no, like they're there for a purpose, and that purpose will be fulfilled. Like, and there's no subtlety about it. It's like, just fucking drive, do it. That's it. Don't pussyfoot around. Just do.
Well, I'd be so on board. Just need to find one.
I'll see what I can dig up. Um,
Yeah, does that about wrap us up
that
on
about wraps
the
this up. I
Subaru
mean,
Impreza?
yeah, that's it. I think. Yeah. Oh well. Well, folks, you have been listening to Auto Arcadia, and hopefully we've filled your heads with some useless shite pertaining to the Subaru Impreza and all its special editions and models and our thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, I
Um,
totally learned stuff today.
Good, man. I'm pleased. It's always good when you get to learn something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I think that's it from us, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you've heard, give us a like, a subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what you think. Yeah. Bye.
Toodaloo.